r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What is the dumbest idea you have had that actually worked? Trying to catch a mouse, I put an empty Pringles can on the floor against the wall and was going to attempt to kinda scoop him in there, but he got startled and ran along the wall right into the can, which I quickly picked up and brought outside. I honestly didn't really think it would work to begin with, let alone have it work so smoothly. Gambling. I was desperate and couldn't pay my rent 1 month, so like a desperate idiot, I put my last £10 into credit on the National Lotto app. I played a mini game and won £2,000. Haven't touched it since, as I know it was an astronomically small chance that one time. I worked in an IT job that I absolutely hated. Got to the point that I just mailed it in. Did the bare minimum. I was hoping to get fired and collect unemployment and get my sanity back. Come in one day and the manager wants to talk. Go to an office with HR waiting. Told me they were eliminating my position. Offered me a sweet severance package with 6 months salary, stock options, and health benefits. Signed it immediately. Thinking they wanted me out, but had nothing on me, did my work, and never got written up or PIP'd. Took a nice long vacation and got my sanity back. Afterwards I found a better job. A clock at my grandparents' house was running backward, so I unplugged it, turned the plug 180 degrees, and plugged it back in. I was having an issue with a PlayStation 1 controller, so I opened it up and found a broken trace. I was young and broke and didn't have any other options, so I got to thinking how those Scantron tests worked. Our teacher explained that HB pencil lead is conductive and the machine checks if the right spot is conductive to mark it. I grabbed a pencil and filled in the trace as much as I could, put it back together, and it worked great. Still works as far as I know. That also works for worn out button pads on all sorts of remote controls and other stuff, like original 8-bit Nintendo controller D-pads. They work by having a conductive carbon layer on the rubber button that gets pushed against some traces on a board to make a connection. If that carbon layer wears off, a bit of pencil graphite can get it working again for a surprisingly long time. Quit my job and drove across America with barely any savings, no prospects, nor even a real plan. Landed a career in IT, a wife, a kid, the whole American dream package. I regularly think, often while manning the grill in my backyard, beer in hand, freaking A, it worked. 5th or 6th grade in school. We were supposed to read some book, but I just couldn't be asked, although we'd eventually have to write an essay about it. Fast forward, the day of the essay is tomorrow, book still basically untouched. School didn't start until like 9:30 tomorrow, so I could just get up early and plow through it. Day of, I get up on time and start reading. The book isn't long, a bit north of 200 pages. Started reading, and soon I realized 2 things. 1. There's no chance that I'll finish in time, and 2. There's this funny pattern that every X number of pages something significant happened in the story. So I did the sensible thing and read every X number of page, plus minus like half a page. Not only did I finish the book no problem, but I ended up being the only one in class getting full marks for my essay. Disclaimer: don't do this, kids. It's dumb and risky and not worth the stress. I handed in a book report that was actually just an exe converted to text, and the teacher thought she corrupted my file and just gave me a +3. Had a very difficult test in college, advanced statistics. I didn't know the material well. Sat in the test and could very visibly see the answers of the 2 people in front of me. I was tempted to just copy some of their answers. At some point, I reached the conclusion that they don't know the material better than me, and if I'm going down, it may as well be for my own mistakes. I answered what I could and made some random guesses on the questions I didn't know how to answer. Against all my expectations, I got a 90 out of 100, with half the class failing, probably those two ahead of me as well. I think this is one of those rare situations where my random guesses were just lucky, cause I certainly didn't have a deep understanding of the material. I told an ex-girlfriend not to marry the guy she was engaged to, but instead marry me. We just celebrated our 29th anniversary. I've bought and sold junk on Craigslist most of my life, like 20 plus years now. At one point I had a unicycle that I didn't want, but I did want a mini fridge. I found the single person on the planet with a mini fridge who wanted a unicycle and made the trade. I also traded a motorcycle seat for a freshly baked red velvet cake. They were a baker by trade. It was the evening before a math test. My knowledge was around 0%. It was late, and the you have to start now point was an hour ago. So I did what every smart guy would do. I smoked a joint to fall asleep faster, so at least I was fit the other day. I know. After smoking that joint, I couldn't sleep because of that messed up situation. So why not take another look at that math book? The weed didn't make me any smarter, as you might imagine. But I calmed my head. So I read the first line, and what was that again? So I read it again, slowly. And look at that, I understood that sentence. Let's go. Second sentence. Got that. Third one, what was the first one again? I was kind of hooked. Read that whole material, and aced 100 out of 100. Today, around 25 years later, I'm on ADHD medication and know what's happening in my brain. That weed was self-medication. I had a paper due in college, but was only about halfway done with it. I submitted it that way and figured I'd go back and submit the rest in the morning, claiming it was an accident. In the morning I had a grade, a B+. Knowing she hadn't even read it, I emailed and told her there must be a mistake because I only submitted half of my paper. I sent the finished one and got an A. Pretty much a give me the A or I'll tell everybody you didn't even look at it. Worked though. Accepting a marriage proposal. College. Friend with a crappy Toyota got rear-ended, but only left a dent. Redneck friends came up with the idea of using boiling water and plunger to reset and fix the dent in the car frame. Somehow that worked. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you only have small dents in the frame that can be fixed like this. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening.